In this video, we are going to talk about top 10 America's most dangerous cities. So before starting, please like this video, and subscribe to our channel for the future updates. The United States is full of incredible cities to live in and visit. In fact, here are some of our favorite cities to visit in the US. Despite continuing concerns about gun violence in the United States, the nation as a whole is safer than you might think. Regrettably, protection on a local level can vary significantly from that on a national level. There are certainly certain areas that are known to be more risky than others when it comes to individual cities. We rated the cities with the highest violent crime rates in the country using the FBI's most recent crime data from its 2018 Uniform Crime Reporting Program. This population-adjusted metric tracks all violent crimes and can be used to assess a city's risk level. It's important to remember that just because a city has been designated as unsafe doesn't mean it should be avoided entirely. Also, in the most dangerous areas, there are protected communities. Even if you're considering visiting one of America's most dangerous areas, we advise you to proceed with caution. Here's a list of the top 10 America's most dangerous cities. Let's start. Number 10. Anchorage, Alaska. Anchorage, which is home to more than 41% of Alaska's population, is a vital northern economic hub with breathtaking views. 6 different mountain ranges make up its skyline. Anchorage has the unfortunate distinction of being the country's sexual harassment capital, in addition to being the country's most northern capital city. Anchorage has the highest rate of recorded sexual assaults per 100,000 residents of any U.S. city with a population of 100,000 or more. The causes for this are numerous, but violent crime is not limited to Anchorage. Alaska is considered the most violent state in the nation, with 59% of women living there having encountered abuse. Number 9. San Bernardino, California. San Bernardino is an inland California city that lies along the historic Route 66 and is home to the first McDonald's restaurant, now a McDonald's museum. Unfortunately, over the last 25 years, the city has become more well-known for its declining economy. San Bernardino lost 10,000 jobs when Norton Air Force Base closed in 1994, and the city has never fully recovered. In 2011, San Bernardino was named America's second poorest city, behind Detroit, and though things have changed since then, more than 30% of residents still live in poverty. Because areas with fewer economic resources appear to have higher crime rates, it's no wonder that San Bernardino's violent crime rate is nearly 4 times the national average. Number 8. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee is known for its proud brewing heritage and cold Midwestern winters, not for its violent crime. Unfortunately, with 1,413 violent crimes per 100,000 residents, is not only Wisconsin's most dangerous city, but also the United States as a whole. Researchers have identified as major factors in Milwaukee's crime, but a poverty rate that is nearly double the national average hasn't helped matters. Milwaukee's youth, like the rest of the country's youth, have been involved in violence reduction. In the city's education system, and other groups are actively working to create a Youth Violence Interruption Alliance. Number 7. Cleveland, Ohio. With the exception of Columbus, which does not appear on the FBI's list of the 50 most dangerous cities in the United States, crime is a significant problem in all major Ohio cities. Cleveland, unfortunately, has the dubious distinction of being Ohio's most dangerous area. Despite its booming healthcare and technology markets, Cleveland's poverty and unemployment rates are troubling. A whopping 35.2% of the population lives in poverty, with 6.5% of the labor force unemployed. These factors have contributed to a violent crime rate that is 4 times higher than the national average. Number 6. Kansas City, Missouri. Most people's first question about Kansas City is, why isn't it in Kansas? Why is the city so violent? Is the question we should be asking. After all, Kansas City's poverty rate is lower than the national average, and its unemployment rate is lower than the national average. Despite this, violent crime in Kansas City is out of reach, with the city on track to see a record number of homicides in 2019. After a 4-year outbreak of gun abuse, Kansas City is looking for answers. However, since firearm violence is a statewide issue, KC will most likely have to wait for a state-level solution. Number 5. St. Louis, Missouri. Kansas City, believe it or not, is not the most violent city in Missouri. St. Louis, a major economic center with 10 Fortune 500 firms, holds the title. Low unemployment hasn't helped to reduce crime in St. Louis, which saw 187 homicides last year. When population is taken into account, St. Louis's homicide rate of 61 cases per 100,000 residents makes it the United States homicide capital. Residents have been putting pressure on Missouri legislators to reform the state's gun laws in recent years. However, with no options in sight, citizens of St. Louis will have to wait a long time for relief. Number 4. Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland is a preservation-obsessed area. More than any other American city, the city has nearly one-third of its buildings listed as historic. Regrettably, recent history is undoubtedly something the city's inhabitants would like to forget, as Baltimore remains one of the country's most violent cities. Baltimore is arguably one of the most violent and deadly major cities in America, with 309 homicides reported in 2018. The city's homicide rate of 51 per 100,000 is second only to St. Louis, while its robbery rate of 837 per 100,000 is the highest in the world. According to Violent Crime has increased since the Notorious in 2015, and there are no signs that it will improve anytime soon. Number 3. Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, once known as the Magic Spot, is now Alabama's most populous city and one of the country's largest banking centers. Despite its economic prosperity, Birmingham has an alarmingly high crime rate compared to the national average. The main source of concern is aggravated assaults, which accounted for approximately 70% of all violent crimes reported in 2018. The rate of murder is also alarmingly high. Despite the fact that the city had fewer homicides in 2018 than the other cities on this list, the homicide rate is the third highest in the country when population is taken into account. Number 2. Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee, is the most dangerous city in America's South, with 1,943 violent crime incidents per 100,000 residents. One might argue that, like blues music and barbecue, aggression is an integral part of Memphis' identity. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in Memphis in 1968, and the city has been the epicenter of some of the country's worst gun violence since the Civil Rights Movement. In fact, firearms were used in 186 of the city's homicides last year. Recently, U.S. Attorney General William Barr announced Project Guardian to curb firearm abuse in Memphis, so hopefully, Memphis will see some relief in the coming years. Number 1. Detroit, Michigan. The Motor City just can't seem to get out of its own way. Although most major American cities have developed over the last half-century, Detroit has been one of them. In the 1950s, the city had a population of 1.8 million inhabitants. However, the loss of industrial employment has reduced the population to fewer than 700,000 people today. Because of the city's high unemployment and poverty rates, 9% and 37.9%, respectively, it has the country's highest violent crime rate. Wide swaths of Detroit are now deserted, serving as a living reminder of the city's decline. Unfortunately, Detroit's reputation as America's most dangerous city can only rise once the city's government gets its act together and starts attracting business and economic development. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.